Wesley's historic questions were about what to teach, how to teach, and what to do. For the Connectional Table's emerging forum, we are seeking to update these questions for our current moment. We are inviting energetic conversation that will help illumine our identity, which is tied to what and how we teach, and our preferred actions, what we do, as well as our abiding hopes as we envision the future United Methodist Church. Good morning, Harriett. I have Harriett Olson here, who is the General Secretary and CEO of United Methodist Women. And Harriett, tell us a little bit about your role in your work as General Secretary of UMW.
Thank you for the invitation, Kennetha. I'm pleased to be part of this emerging series. United Methodist Women, as you well know, is the women's mission organization within the United Methodist Church. And with that in mind, the role of the leader of United Methodist Women is always to encourage the things that are at our core. And those are spiritual growth, the sisterhood of women coming together across very different situations, and working together to serve people who are in need, particularly women, children, and youth, and to advocate for change for the systems that keep those people marginalized. So the work is a little different every day, and the connection with women across the membership, which is, we count the membership in the US, but we have United Methodist Women all around the world. And the connections with those women and our historical work for women and children brings both joy and challenge every day.
So tell me, what do you see at this particular time in the life of the church as essential to the ministry of United Methodist Women, especially as we think about the future church? What is essential about UMW's mission and ministry?
It's a really good question, and it's a wonderful time for United Methodist Women to be talking about what's essential to our work. We've just finished a season of celebrating 150 years of mission service. And as we tell the stories, we see so many similar threads throughout the history. And it really helps to illustrate what's essential. And those threads are women seeking to follow God's call. Women knowing that they are loved by God, that they are called beyond the capacities that their cultures may say they can fulfill, and women sharpening each other's call. So identifying where the work of the Spirit is taking place and helping us to see ourselves and to see the needs of the world in a profound way. And then not just learning about it, but acting on it, so that the women are saying, well, what can we do? Now that we know that women are hungry, now that we know that women lack education, now that we know that this need exists, whether it's here or someplace where we've never traveled ourselves, and maybe never can travel ourselves, what's our calling to do about it? So those threads are replete in the work. If you think about the very first story, the oldest part of our organization sent a woman doctor and a woman educator to India in 1870. The women heard the story from missionary wives on furlough in Boston. They never thought they would go to India, but they felt connected to the needs of the women there and said, what can we do? So they raised funds, which is also a through line for United Methodist Women to raise our own funds, and responded to the need. And they changed things wherever they went. It was not common to have women educated, girls educated in India, and so norms were changed. The same thing happened in China when the women came and realized how big a threat to women's health and women's agency the foot binding tradition was. United Methodist Women's predecessors were among those who challenged that. So this history of responding to God's call and challenging the systems, the cultures that we can see holding women back is something that's true throughout our history. It was true in our own denominations, the feeder denominations that are now the United Methodist Church, as we thought about women's role, women's leadership, women's ability to respond to the call to preach. All of those things are systems that were addressed by our predecessors over time. And so today, we see those things evident in, of course, the ongoing work, Mission U, learning together, praying together, challenging each other sometimes when our own giftedness, the knowledge we come with and the experience we've gained in United Methodist Women gives us something to share with others who don't necessarily see the world the same way. But it leads to the commitment to raising funds, the commitment to supporting our regional missionaries, our national mission institutions, and our commitment to looking deeper into how the systems take us to where we are today. So our commitment to the interrupting the school to prison pipeline, which is one of our signature commitments today, builds on decades of work on racial justice and the commitment to identify a place in the system where girls of color are prevented from becoming their own persons in our system, where their productive engagement with education is threatened, and taking action. Sometimes the action is on a big scale, so it's national. And sometimes, like the school to prison pipeline, it's quite local. It's addressing our own school boards and the work very close to home that we know very well. So there's a lot of threads that are in common, although the expression of the work has certainly changed over time, and how we gather, how we fund, and how we structure, that the identity is very, very consistent.